I. There you go. The greatest text message I've received in 1,000 years of doing talk radio. Peter, your guests are lunatics.
And as Curly from the Three Stooges would say, I resemble that remark.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, spread
and
out.
I've been called worse. I did think of you yesterday. I got stuck waiting on somewhere, and I ended up watching the Ric Flair Harley race match in Japan.
The all-time.
And I go, Peter's got to know this inside and out.
Was there anybody better than Harley?
84, I think it was. Yeah.
All right, let me reset this because it's fluid. Lines are lit up. 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station. I'm Peter Boyles, and good morning. In studio, two people that I love.
Two lunatics.
Two lunatics.
Yeah, spread out. Remember, it was always, there's a line in every Stooge movie, this is pointed out to me by my brother, where some overweight woman or some overweight guy says, "Are you boys sure you're plumbers?" Or, "Are you boys sure you're carpenters?" Or whatever it was, but "Are you boys sure you're plumbers?" And
I'm not an optometrist.
No, neither am I.
And Curly always goes, "Certainly."
Certainly.
Certainly. All right, let me do all this again real quick. 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station. Good morning, everyone. It's going to be a record. This is 90 degrees, 78's the record, so it's going to go to 90, 67 on Sunday, and 74 on Monday. As I'm waiting for all the lines to light up, because we're going to go to the motorcycle show with Scott Schultz and the one and only Brando. We're going to do this. But in studio, Dr. Brian Joondeph, who's been appointed to a committee. We were talking about it. And then, of course, the one, the only, Jonathan Flora. Are we ready to go? No, we're not ready to go. We're ready to go? All right. These are two other great friends. Brando's here from Devil's Head Choppers. And we got Scott. Hey, Scott Schultz is with us, too. There's a motorcycle show south of Colorado Springs, and my bike's in it. And, hey, Scott, good morning, man. Thanks for coming up on the show.
Good morning, Peter. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I thought everything was going to be great till I saw those two other trikes. and my guy, and Brando's here. Brother, man, I will see you mid-afternoon, and we're going to go over some things. I'll talk about the show, the location, and the hours and everything to go with it first.
All right, we're out at the Norris Penrose Center, which is off of 8th Street in Colorado Springs. Very easy to get to, a little hidden away, though. And we're open today from 9 until 6, and tomorrow from 10 until 5. Today we got we actually ended up with over 60 bikes in the show, which is amazing for this event. So a really nice display. It's beautiful. A lot of people coming in through the door right now. So we're just getting rocking and rolling.
And of course, Peter Boyle's bike is down there. And like you said, there's two other trikes. Is there a total of 4 trikes?
Yep, there's a total of 4 trikes. One's a big V8 trike, so
Okay.
they're all in the same class.
So does that mean it's a real trike competition?
No, but
It does. Yeah.
There is no competition with Peter Boyle's trike.
that's right. Except those two guys I pulled up to next. I'm going to show the pictures to the fellas, and they were just yeah.
There's some nice bikes down there when we were setting up yesterday. The bike show is phenomenal, and it's a fun little event. Get through real quick, see a lot of cool stuff, and it's a great day to ride. Everybody's got to get down there.
And we rode yesterday, and now we're doing well. But again, it's the Colorado Super Show Swap Meet. Scott Schultz and Brando are here. Brando, of course, with Devil's Head. The Colorado Super Show and Swap Meet, and it's going on as we speak and go. Just seeing cool motorcycles. But I rolled in with Brando yesterday. I rolled down. The guy said, "Here, park your trike here." And there's a woman, and they got a green trike, and then this guy next to me, he's got a Vikla, and it's a trike. And I should just turn around and go home. But Scott, you've got great guy.
Tricyclita.
It's wonderful. That guy's great. But the couple that built that green one, boy, that's a neat bike. That's really a cool bike. I'll show my guest pictures. But anyhow, so we're going to do it again. I'm going to come down and I'm going to hook up with Brando, and we're good for the whole weekend. And Scott, I'll see you ASAP. And Brando, I'll see you in just a little bit, brother. But I really appreciate it. Folks, go and see the show. It's worth your time. Okay?
Absolutely.
Thanks, fellas.
Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, get on down here.
All right. Now, let me show the guests. So I take my trike in there yesterday. And this husband and wife have built, I mean, it's like one of a kind. Look at that. It's a little green. It's they built that.
Very nice.
Oh, phew. And then the one next to it, the black one's a V-Clan. And we all stood around, just talked for a couple hours down there.
Yeah, but I like the one with the red highlights.
That's mine.
Yours is beautiful.
That's mine.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, I love motorcycles and motorcycle
I enjoyed
shows.
looking at it last week.
Here's this guy. I don't know how to keep people out of it. All right, I got to read all these things. So anyhow, Dr. Joondeph has now an appointee. That looks good on a resume.
It does. My resume is long enough.
So what does that mean? I mean, so what do you do? And
so we are
what are the next steps?
We are an advisory committee to the head of the EPA, Lee Zeldin. So it's the Clean Air Scientific Advisory Committee. 6 of us and a chairman, so 7 on the committee. And we review data that's out there, research that's out there, and make recommendations. And it's a matter of balancing, in my opinion, safety with cost in area of uncertain science. This is not all settled.
No.
Climate, pollution, weather, etc. It's very difficult to predict. The science isn't settled. All the predictions of a decade or more have not come true.
Remember, it was going to go the other way.
Yeah, Al Gore and AOC and all these people. New York is not underwater, and the ice caps have not melted.
They've increased.
And and polar bears and other, and Paul Ehrlich, you mentioned him in the first hour. All of his predictions have not come to be. So it's analyzing this and realizing that the science is uncertain, and we have to make the best decisions balancing safety and cost, because there's a cost to these things. You can make there's diminishing returns on how clean you can make water and air, and at some point it's infinite cost. And what are the safety risks? How significant are they? Who are they affecting? And everything's a balance. We can't eat a perfect diet. We can't have perfectly safe cars. Everything's a trade-off, and it's finding the sweet spot, and I think that's what we're charged with.
Did you ever notice if you go about 100 miles east of here, you can dig up camel bones? There were big sloths. There were mammoth elephants.
Well, there were sea turtles in the Arctic. There's fossils of
palm
trees and sea turtles
that's
up
right.
in...
long before Henry Ford built that first.
That's correct. We had 20,000 years ago, the Great Lakes were covered with a mile thick layer of ice.
Serious.
And it melted, and something caused it to freeze, something caused it to melt, and there was not a lot of significant human activity at that time.
How many times, Doc, did the ice come? Twice or 3 times?
2, 3, 4 ice ages.
Yeah.
We've had ice ages, and we will. This is on such a scale that most of us think history started 100 years ago, but the Earth's 4.5 billion years old.
Just no ice age this year.
Yeah.
And that's what they do with that floating scale. They go from ice age to global warming to climate change. They go for feel-good names that are less accurate. And what I appreciate your approach is how you're going to knock the legs out, again, from underneath their bumper sticker slogans, because too often they try to present the right as being anti-climate, anti-woods, nature, etc. We are more than anybody else because we do it with a common sense approach.
Right. We all want clean air and water and
Forestry.
trees and forests and hike and ski and enjoy the outdoors that God gave us. So we want to be good stewards of it, but we also have to be practical.
We were talking about using and misusing faith, religion. I believe that the green movement is a religion.
Yes, there's
totally.
Michael Crichton wrote a book about eco-terrorists. He's a physician and
he's
author.
Gone now,
But in it, he
wrote Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the name of the book, but it was about the environment and eco-terrorism, and he made the case of the climate movement is the new religion for the left. And Rush Limbaugh said the same thing in his day, that the environmental movement is the new home of communists after the Soviet Union fell, and that was Rush's assertion. So it's there's a God of Mother Nature, and there's redemption and atoning for sin and all of that, and it has become a religion.
And we talked briefly last weekend. There's that Pascal vacuum that everybody has. And if you don't have faith, you fill it with something else.
Right.
And that becomes these other movements for too many people.
They're false gods.
Exactly.
And they're
Idols.
And a lot of the social issues are false gods, whether it's climate or transgenderism or
abortion for a lot.
Ukraine or Palestine or Israel or Iran, take your pick.
I brought this up in the first hour, and somebody said, what were you talking about? The Christ is King. And I would like to go back to that just for a few moments for the people that said, I've told you talked about something about Christ. Christ is King. Is it anti-Semitic or racially diverse? In other words, can it be used when I say Christ is King? Am I attacking a Jewish guy or a black guy or whomever that doesn't believe what I believe? I'm serious about this, and this is starting to watch you guys in the next 30 days, 60 days, you'll see this. And they even discuss Jesus is Lord, part of this Christ is King or Christ is Lord. And that's going to be used, and watch what happens. Watch how quickly people roll over and won't say it.
Well, it depends on your religious belief. It's basically Christianity is largely New Testament, and Judaism, Islam, or Old Testament.
Yes.
And it's what do you believe? Can you prove it like the law of gravity? No, but everybody has their opinion on faith. And me as a Christian, the preponderance of evidence is that Jesus was real and existed, and what happened in the New Testament was true. Does everybody have to believe it? No. Can I prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt? No. But this is divisive of what you can say and what you can't say. And I don't know what Ted Cruz is trying to do other than, here I'm speculating, but a lot of people are trying to fracture the Trump MAGA movement and create a vacuum. Ted Cruz is old enough to make another run for president at some point.
What do you do with him?
I don't know. He ran for president in 2016. I remember being in this studio and talking to Randy Corcoran, who was a big Cruz guy, and I was a Trump guy.
Yeah.
And we had discussions on the air about that. Maybe Ted wants to make another run for it. He's young enough. Is he positioning himself? It's odd. These people are trying to fracture the movement, and I don't know if it's for financial gain or positioning themselves or positioning somebody that they support so that their guy gets in the White House in 2028. There's a lot of that going on, I think.
You know what the number one swear word in movies is? People will automatically think the F-bomb. It's using Jesus or Jesus Christ as a swear word. You see it constantly, every movie, every TV show. And it says very clearly in Scripture that Jesus' name will be the dividing rod amongst people, and they will hate you for believing in me. So once again, it's a group of people that have hijacked the name of Christ, and they're using it as a weapon to divide.
See, I, as a reader of history, the two great struggles are Marx on one side and Christianity on the other. They both have sacred books. They both have missionaries. They both have deities. Karl Marx, Engels, Lenin. They forget about Stalin. They don't want to talk about Joe, but all of those, and they send missionaries out to convert. And no, I really see them as two very parallel movements. That they have holy books, sacred books, Das Kapital, Karl Marx's Manifesto, the Old and New Testaments, and I mean, do you see the dynamic? And both, by the way, offer salvation. They do.
That was Michael Crichton's point about the environmental movement.
Okay.
That it fulfills, and it's in early part of that book. I read the book many years ago, but it's in the early part where he makes the case of how it forms a religion.
To the phones, 303-696-1971. We go to Ben and Morrison. We got to do this show like once a month, put everybody in a room and play jump ball. Ben, you're on the air. Thank you.
Yeah, hey. I guess my point is most of the scientific community is pretty much well established that, the climate change thing is real, it's happening, and it's man-made. And I think where really the diversions come is how do we affect it? How do we deal with it? You're talking about how things have always changed, which is pretty debunked argument, because what we're not talking about is nobody who understands science. I have 2 master's degrees. Mine's in microbiology and chemistry. And none of the people that I deal with regularly debate that the world has always changed. No one. We all considering is rate. And that's what we're looking at.
But when we're watching this is Peter, who has no science background at all. But isn't the evidence there that the Earth is always changing?
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's a different. Like let's say, for example, if it was your house,
all right.
If you go and change the thermostat, and you set it to, say, your house was 60 degrees, and you set it to 75. You'd expect that to take 45 minutes or something like that, and that would go up there. But if it happened in 2, that means probably your kitchen's on fire or something. There's something different that's happening, and that's what scientists are observing. Is like, this isn't the normal rate of change. This is very, very different than what we've seen before in the past, and that's the concern.
Well, the problem is we haven't seen in the past all the way back. We have temperature records of a few hundred years. There's fossil records going back further. And how accurate are these records? And what are the larger cycles at play of oceans and solar cycles and Earth's rotation and things like that? And if you look at a very large time frame, you can find upward trends, downward trends. And if you focus only on that, it's notable. But if you look at a bigger trend that occurs over a far longer period of time, maybe not. So the point is we don't know, and this is to be determined. And unless there's certainty, they were quite certain in the 70s that there was global cooling, and then it became global warming.
Yeah.
The point is this is not certain science. There's a lot of uncertainties, and climate is difficult to predict. And before we commit trillions of dollars based on consensus of people with degrees, it's important to research it and make good decisions.
Yeah, we have learned that the science world is very split.
Hold on, so Ben, go ahead. Ben, it's your turn.
No, our information's better than we had in the 70s. We have LiDAR systems that are checking global rises in sea levels. We're able to get more information from fossil records. We can look at stoma counts on old leaf fossils and see, okay, this had to take in more carbon dioxide at the time. There's a lot of new information that we have gathered. And as we get more and more information, it's not leading towards the progression that this is not man-made. So as we're acquiring more information, it's going the other direction.
Hey, Ben, can you hang with us?
Is it not?
Can I put you on hold and you stay through a break? I'd love to keep you. Okay. Put him on hold. We have full lines. 710 KNUS Denver's talk station. Dr. Brian Joondeph in studio. Jonathan Flores in studio. The jiu-jitsu practicers will be here at 11. It's going to be 90, a record. 78's the record. 90 breaks that. Action day. 67 drops down, and then 74 on Monday. 303-696-1971 when Ben drops off. It's your line. This is Radio Free Denver, good old 710 KNUS.
Your 710 5-day forecast this Saturday. Very warm, even near summer-like. Highs in the upper 80s under a mostly sunny sky. Afternoon winds will get a little breezy, gusts around 30 miles an hour, especially in the foothills. A cold front will drop in late tonight, dropping us to the upper 40s. Some clouds for your Sunday, maybe a light shower in the foothills. High Sunday, middle and upper 60s with lows in the mid-40s. Partly cloudy to partly sunny for Monday. Highs middle and upper 70s. Meteorologist Don Watzel in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
This is an absolutely great Saturday. 90 will be the high, 67 on Sunday, Monday 74. And it's got a tough ski year. The snow is starting to come back a little bit. Ski resorts are in full swing. And if you're still rocking gear from a decade ago, you're missing out. And it's time for an upgrade. And there's really one place to go. It is Larson Ski and Sport. John Marriott, his son, the guys, Paul, everybody there. The newest inventory, and trust me, the service is incredible. They have everything that you need from top-tier performance, skis and boards and jackets and apparel and all the best skis and boards, K2, Rosignol, Nordica. So whether you're a downhill demon, a powder hound, or some old guy like me, Larson's will fit you perfectly. Forget those big box stores. Larson's staff offers expertise that you need, incredible value. Tell them Peter Boyles sent you in. You'll find them, the big wooden building just south of I-70 and Kipling. So you get your gear, you go to the mountain, and you have a great winter. So you're going westbound on I-70. You get off on the Kipling ramp. You go down the ramp, and then you'll make a left, go south, and you actually literally go under I-70. Come out the other side, and you'll see a big, look to your right, look to your right, look to the north, look to the west, and you'll see a big wooden box building 7 days a week, south of I-70 on Kipling. Call 303-423-0654, 303-0654, or visit larsonsport.com, L-A-R-S-O-N sport.com, 303-423-0654. Proving once again, talk radio, no man its master. In studio, Dr. Joondeph, who's just been appointed to a Trump commission on air, and of course the one and only Jonathan Floria, and that triggers these calls. This is Ben. Ben, it's your turn again. Ben's in Morrison. Continue if you would.
Yeah, I guess my point is we know that humans are causing this, and I understand the bigger issue is to figure out how to practically handle it if we think we can handle it, but I mean, we need to acknowledge first and foremost that this is a problem that we're creating, and the practicalities of trying to fix it might be up for debate because it's a global problem that we may not have a whole lot of impact that we can do by ourselves, because there's China, India, there's Russia, there's all these other major industrial companies that may not comply with what we do. But so that should be where the discussion is. But ignoring the fact that we are the source of what's going on right now is what's absurd to me.
All right, who wants this? Jonathan?
I won't argue that we're playing a role, but it's how much of a role, and that's the part that's uncertain. There's volcanoes and undersea volcano, the Tonga volcano a few years ago, of how much water vapor it spewed in the air. So there are a lot of things like that, and
cow farts.
Yeah, well, there's uncertainty, and yes, gasoline engines emit carbon dioxide. Humans, animals, carbon dioxide is also a plant food, and higher levels translate to a greener planet. So there's a lot. It's not an all or nothing, and it's a balance. And as you said, what are the effects elsewhere in the world? And should United States be fossil fuel free while other countries do what they want? It reminds me of the old smoking section on the airplane. You used to fly in an airplane, and there were half a dozen rows that were designated as smoking. And if you're in the row behind it, you think you're non-smoking, but you're breathing cigarette smoke the whole time. So there's a lot to it, and it's a balance between cost and
hey, Ben,
safety. Ben,
this is Peter. Let me fire this one at you, and you give me the answer. As a chronicle somewhat of my own life and times, all of a sudden one day, man was destroying the planet. And I mean, I'm not the smartest guy in this room, but I'm pretty tuned into the issues. And then sometime following the fall of Saigon and prior to the first Gulf War, I was being told that we were in the process of destroying our planet. Why hadn't it come up before?
I think our technology has gotten better.
Okay.
Over time. So I think it's become more global. We're able to share more stuff with the adaptation of the internet. I think our sharing has become better, where scientists are able to look at other people's data and accumulate and kind of make a compilation with computers and everything a little bit better, because that's probably around that same time. If you're talking Saigon, you're dealing 70s, and then 80s, you're getting into the computer age. So all of a sudden we have massive amounts of data that we're all of a sudden able to like accumulate from multiple countries, and we're able to look at it as a more global scale than we've ever been able to do before. And our satellites are better. Everything is better. The technology's better, and it's all going. But we have created this, and there's administrative policies that are being pushed right now that I see from this administration, like going back towards coal, and that's like going back towards whale oil. Coal is more costly. It's not as clean as natural gas. So like, why go back to coal when we have natural gas? There's no reason to do that. We can still have fossil fuels, but there's other things available, and we should start administering those and start looking into those technologies. Like tidal is a great system. In Colorado, I think we have potential for geothermal. You look at the hot springs and stuff. I think we can utilize some of that stuff, and those are a lot cleaner. So I think there's other potential. And then we're looking further down the line. This is probably going to be towards the end of my lifeline, but we might hit fusion, which is going to be a paradigm shift for the entire energy industry. As soon as if that hits ever in my lifetime, that's going to change the whole dynamic of how energy works across the globe.
And Dan, you're right about
and I think that should be invested in.
Dan, you're right about the advances in technology, and I think as technology improves, there'll be alternative, cleaner, safer sources of energy. Nuclear is a potential. There's fusion, as you mentioned. There's matter, antimatter. A lot of these things in science fiction, but a lot of iPhones and AI 100 years ago was science fiction, and here it is. We will have increasing energy demands, and I'm confident that smart people that have given us the technology we enjoy today will come up with alternative forms of energy that are cleaner, safer, more productive, more efficient.
And I agree with the all the above approach. The previous administration, we didn't have that. It became mandated on us, and I'm not quite sure. I mean, I know somebody has to do something, but why America, with the overregulation that we had, is the one that has to shoulder the pollution burden of the entire the globe.
You know the rap that climate.
Currently,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Currently, China is starting to outpace us. I mean, they're still building coal plants, that's like whale oil now in this industry. That's outdated. It's going out of phase. We don't need to do coal anymore. Natural gas is cheaper. It's just cheaper. It's cleaner. We don't need to do coal. But China's starting to outpace us. They're beating Tesla in the production of electric cars. They're doing a whole lot of other things that's the next wave. And like, why are we not future forward and looking towards future elements that are coming forward that, are eventually going to take over?
There's a rap that climate change is an effective way to control populations and people. I'm serious. Somebody just sent me that, but I've read it as well.
Well, it is. If CO2 is a pollutant and humans produce a pollutant, human activity can be controlled. What we eat, what we do, how far we drive, where we live, that's potentially true.
So if things don't change, Ben, time frame it.
I'm not an apocalyptic person, but I do see fiscal issues and things coming up, because if you look at where cities are generally across the globe, a lot of it's coastal, and they've done that because of trade reasons. It works out. New York City, Boston, San Francisco, like a lot of our country, or a lot of our nations, like areas are right on the coast. So if you see elevation rises, like Miami, for example, has spent $500 million over recent years to protect against sunny day flooding because the increases have happened so much. So I look at it as a fiscal issue as well as an environmental issue, because, we're spending $500 million over in Miami to build more seawalls because this increase in sunny day flooding, that's where basically you have a high tide and all of a sudden it's coming in with the swell and it's impacting, buildings and washing away houses, washing away buildings. That's increasing over time. We're seeing fires get more and more, what's the best way to describe this?
But aren't they supposed to burn?
It's hard
but aren't the forests supposed to burn?
That's part of the life cycle of forests, of burning.
They
and thinning them.
They saved Yellowstone for too many years.
We have
California and Colorado too are unfortunately two perfect examples where we don't do control burns.
No control burns.
Supposed to
with that over
and
last
in
100
terms
years or so.
one comment in terms of Miami. Miami's built up on the coastline. If you looked at a picture of Miami 100 years ago, there wasn't much there, and 300 years ago, it was mostly swamp. And the storms, the hurricanes, they blew water into the swamp. That was part of the life cycle of the swamp. And when you build condos and high-rises along the coast, obviously there's going to be more damage when there's a storm surge.
It's a great call. What do you do for real without naming a company?
I work for a civil and engineering company.
You're a welcome caller. You're great.
Good discussion.
Do some environmental mitigation and,
Pick up the phone anytime. You're always welcome here. Thanks. Have a good weekend, brother. Thanks.
All right,
everybody. We go, Evan, there's one line open, 303-696-1971. The gang's all here. Evan, you're on the show. Good morning.
Thank you once again, Peter. Tremendously good show.
The guests are good.
My Saturday, weekend.
I'm not good. The guests are good. It's like jockeys. My friend, jockeys are only as good as their horses. I got a couple of good horses here. All right.
You're the quarterback, so that speaks well for you, sir. I don't have advanced degrees like the gentleman we just spoke with. I'm only about a half of an MBA, but I think he missed a book that I propound. It's called Unstoppable Global Warming, written by an astronomer, I believe, from the University of South Carolina. And fundamentally all he's saying is that, yes, but the heat signature of the Earth fluctuates, and there is evidence of it throughout the world. And I won't go into the details. It's better to read the book. Supportive of the statement I've just made is that the hockey stick, which was propounded by a novitiate in the global warming church, was declared bunk because somebody wanted to make money while he was a university professor. One of your associates made reference to cow flatulence, as they say. I have heard recently that the University of Nebraska did a full study on both the flatulence and the excrement, and it actually has a positive impact on the environment. That's basically all I have to say. I'm not scientifically
Did you ever,
guided by
as a reader away from traditional stuff, did you ever read the theory of Gaia? You ever read that stuff? You guys ever read that? Well, the Earth, is a living thing. Gaia is a part of, I think it's Greek deities, and the theory is that the Earth is itself a living, breathing thing, object. Put a tag on it, that it's going to take care of itself, and that's what plagues are about, and that's what all kinds of catastrophic events are about.
It's an ecosystem,
and
things happen for a reason, and animals are here for a reason, and their physiology is as it is for a reason. This is, whether you believe in God, intelligent design, these things are. It's designed for a purpose.
It takes care of itself,
and
it'll shake us off.
These are not catastrophic things.
No.
And if a large meteor hits the Earth, that could be an extinction event.
Indeed.
Guess what? That's happened.
That's happened. That's
several times, and dinosaurs went extinct, and things changed. And an event like that could extinguish humans permanently, temporarily.
Oh, sure.
The Earth will figure it out. Nuclear war could as well, and that's
we were talking
gets into geopolitics
on a radio show last Saturday, and Joseph Stalin had this theorist that he really liked, and his name was Velikovsky, and Velikovsky did a book called Worlds in Collision, And I read it when I was in grad school because Stalin liked it. But he had this theory that it makes all the sense in the world. He had many different theories on how things are. But he said, think of Europe, and we did this last week. Think of Europe when it was all forest, say 700 years or 600 years in the beginning of the Common Era. And there would be particularly Germans, and they'd be back in the forest and they would see something. They would see an elf, or they would see a troll, or they would see a gremlin. They were really seeing the end of the Neanderthals. That the Neanderthals were waning out and being whatever was going to happen to them. But that was part of mythology, that they actually saw them. And I thought, wow, that made all the sense in the world.
Yeah, I'm an optimist. I think we as a society and we're global population, we will figure out the next phase of energy. We've gone from
absolutely
walking to horse and buggy to cars to supersonic planes. Who knows what's next? We will figure it out and the energy needs for it.
We had a pod, but what man can conceive, man can achieve.
Correct.
Thanks for your call, everyone. Hang on. We're right back after this. And good morning again, everyone. 710 KNUS, Denver's talk station. I met part of our next guests. They're going to be with us, jiu-jitsu players. Looking forward to that. The guys are here and makes the morning perfect. 90 will be the high. The record is 78. We're going to 90, 67 on Sunday, Monday, 74 degrees. And what I can't stand is the dental runaround. You go for a checkup, and then they send you across town for an extraction, and then someplace else for Invisalign. It is a waste of your time, and if you don't want it done right and you want it to be done some other place, don't go see my guys. Go someplace else. You need to see my friends at Twin Aspen Dental Center, Doctors Richter, Snyder, and Rich. They've really built something special in Parker, comprehensive family plans, everything from your regular cleanings to the big stuff, same-day crowns, dental implants, smile makeovers. They even handle same-day emergencies. If you're in pain, you've had an accident, they don't tell you to wait 2 weeks. They get you in right away. They get you fixed professionally and promptly and get you back on the road. And look, if you don't have insurance, don't let that stop you. They have reduced fee membership plans that make quality care affordable again. Get the smile you want without the headache. Our friends and my friends, TwinAspenDentalCenter.com. That's TwinAspenDentalCenter.com. Give them a call at 303-841-7466, 303-841-7466. Don't wait. They get you handled now, 303-841-7466. Dr. Brian Joondeph and Jonathan Flora are in studio. And I brought up, and we're talking off air about so many different things, and the guys have been wonderful this morning. Now,
one quick comment before you go into that. You were introduced as the legend. You need to introduce the two of us as the lunatics.
Yeah, we're going to make shirts. Peter Boyles, the lunatic.
You know what? It's done.
Yeah.
And one other comment. I said dentistry won't be replaced by AI. A listener just sent me. A robot just completed an entire dental crown procedure in only 15 minutes. So you never know what AI is going to do. So it's good thing I'm at the end of my career, because AI will be injecting eyeballs.
Dr. Jeffrey Parks put a heart valve in me in 47 minutes.
Wow.
And I'd had bypass surgery. I covered George W. Bush's inaugural, came back and had bypass. I was on the table 7 hours. And in the hospital for like 5 days.
You could do a show while you're getting a new valve, and that would leave time for commercial breaks.
They put my lights out. They put a valve in me. They spent the night and said, go home.
Wow.
I mean, and I just saw Dr. Parks. I mean, he's the man. But 40, and that was robots. And they're sitting there like they're playing Nintendo or something. I don't know what they're doing. They're putting a heart valve in you.
Pong,
doing. So I want to bring up your thoughts on how the war in Iran is going and what's going place there. Jonathan, first, you take it first.
I think it's incredible what they're doing. 3 weeks in. However, the Iranian Navy does have a very high success right now. They totally dominate the bottom of the ocean. So that's good. But I like what we're doing. I like the way that it's being handled. If troops are on the ground, we'll be having a different conversation.
Well, they're talking about landing Marines, but again,
they're putting them in the area.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
A lot of talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not fighting Marines. I think they're more for keep that area, Cargill, and
that's what I'm
safe.
About going on the island.
And it's interesting. Trump was interviewed, 20, 30 years ago and asked what he would do about Iran, and he mentioned Cargill Island. Nobody ever heard of Cargill Island. I didn't hear of Cargill Island, and I've been to Iran. So I think he's handling it well. He's got objectives. I don't think this will be an endless war. If it is, that's on him. He's railed against endless wars since he first ran for president.
Yes,
so I don't think he wants that. And I think it's about more than just Iran. It's about maritime shipping. It's about oil. It's really a new world order, to use a hackneyed term. But it's we secured Venezuelan oil before we went into Iran with the Strait of Hormuz. Who's getting oil? Who's not? Who's coming to help and who's not? Europe was like, oh, we're not helping. It's not our war.
They are now.
Like, what is the little
red hen
or whatever? Nobody wanted to help grow the wheat or
help
make the bread, but they all wanted to help eat it.
That's right.
China's dependent on the oil. It's kind of resetting
the world,
the geopolitical landscape, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
And you know what we haven't heard from a president since probably Roosevelt? Unconditional surrender.
Now you see, right?
I appreciate that. Before it was always a borderline or a date on a calendar or something like that. So
right.
What about that moment in Japan that everybody's been talking
Pearl
about?
Harbor
Pearl
comment?
Harbor, yeah.
That was brilliant. I mean,
it was great.
That's a comment. I give Trump credit for thinking of that off the top of his head. I don't think that was a setup, but that's like a setup question. It was like brilliant.
Did you watch
the Japanese Prime Minister?
She just sat there with a slight little smile.
She's like humming. What do I say here?
Yeah, she didn't. She was. I mean, because they are culturally so different than us.
Yes.
And she was not going to say, "What did you say?" You know?
No, Japan culture. We were there last year, and they're so polite and nice and orderly, and it's so different being in Tokyo versus like New York City.
He said, "Surprise!"
Yeah.
like somebody cued him, and then he went on to talk about the Japanese and Pearl Harbor, and I thought, "Ouch." But then I
mean, and it's very strategic. I mean, it's so incredibly successful from a military point of view in the targets that are being hit. And who wants to be a supreme leader now? That's like being a drummer for Spinal Tap. Who wants that job? You know, so it's
yeah, the Ayatollah's son, who's supposedly in charge. We don't know if he's alive.
Yeah.
I saw a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
So overall, how are things going in the world today, do you think?
I think it's better, but it's a rearrangement. It's the way your body feels if you've never exercised and you're now going to the gym every day.
Wow.
You're going to be very uncomfortable for a while until you get into your new routine. And I think that's what's happening.
Jonathan, how do you see the world right now?
I see it same way. I mean, it's a repositioning of the chairs right now. I think we finally got a president that will say something and do something, which is a big difference. There's the argument, even Lauren Boebert just came out yesterday, the day before, that she's not going to fund it because it's not putting an America first policy. It absolutely is putting an America first policy.
Do you think she's going to get dumped?
It's going to be, if anybody can lose in this area, it would be her. I mean, that's why she jumped from CD3.
Yeah, that's right.
And now she's over here, and she's kind of back and forth on things right now. Her social life seems to have calmed down a little bit. We don't have quite as much as we've had in the past. But when she comes out yesterday and says that, the Iran, what we're doing in Iran right now is not an America first policy, it absolutely is.
I agree.
When they chant for decades, we want to destroy America, and they're killing Americans. When did we start believing that?
This war started in 1979.
Absolutely.
So it didn't start 3 weeks ago.
In 1941.
Well, you could go even further, but with the Ayatollahs and the hostages.
And one of the things when people don't read history is, where did this war begin? Where do other wars have they begun? And we're talking about the war against the Japanese, the Second World War. Its roots are way beyond December 7th, 41.
The history of the world is mainly conflict.
Yes.
We're kind of spoiled. Our generation, we've lived through mostly peace. We haven't lived through a major war affecting us personally.
Well, no foreign troops on our soil.
Yeah, but the world, if you look back thousands of years, it's been violent.
Well, that's the
Cain
point.
killed Abel, so it started early on.
Yeah.
And then who did Cain marry?
Well, it says it were other people.
Other people.
Yeah, it doesn't mean his mom. I know where you're going with that. I saw the George C. Scott movie.
I wasn't thinking his mom.
Oh, okay, good.
Cain killed Abel. So, wait a minute. There has to be another woman.
Yeah. Well, it says in Genesis, other people. There were other people
from the land of
the area, all in the Middle East.
The neighbors.
Yes, the neighbors.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Man,
I look forward to it.
I want you to come back in.
I am honored to be asked to serve. I will do my best, and I'm trying to bring my scientific thinking to it, and
I was going
not
to
politics.
I was going to make a call when I heard. You want that lunatic? We're coming back, everybody. Stay here. It's a Saturday.